Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're cutting through the noise on a topic that's really exploded, hasn't it? From sci-fi idea to a massive industry. Almost overnight, it feels like.
It really does.
We are diving deep into AI waifu chatbots.
Yeah, and the sources we've looked at show this isn't just some, niche hobby anymore. It's becoming a core application for modern AI.
Right.
These AI waifu chatbots. They're not just the sort of anime fantasy pictures people might think of. They're built now to be emotional, responsive, and crucially designed for what the industry calls intimacy companionship.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to give you the shortcut to understanding this whole space. We're going to review the top 7 platforms and tools out there in 2025.
And we're covering the whole spectrum.
Everything from the instant art generators, the wholesome chat partners, all the way to fully custom, sometimes uncensored, and even monetized systems.
And if we look at the context, why is this exploding now? It's not just simple companionship demand. It seems fundamentally driven by, commerce and content creation.
That feels like the key difference, doesn't it? We're seeing real revenue streams, new ways people are using them. It's not just private chats anymore.
No, not at all.
Like streamers are using AI companions as actual co-hosts on their channels. Gamers. They're using them for really immersive, deep role play, the kind that never breaks character. And maybe most significantly, adult content creators are turning these things into immediate, scalable businesses, subscriptions, explicit chat systems. It's big money.
And that scale, it's only possible because the tech underneath has just, matured incredibly quickly. We're talking real technological shifts here.
Like what specifically?
Well, for instance, the experience gets leveled up hugely by what the sources call neural text-to-speech, neural TTS.
Okay.
This isn't that old robotic voice. It actually injects human-like emotion, pauses, intonation, personality, basically, into the companion's voice. Makes it feel much more real, more personal.
And then there's the visual side.
Right. You've got these anime art generators that can, crank out stunning, consistent avatars in seconds. Forget clunky old character creators.
Right.
And underneath it all, you have these really sophisticated real-time chat systems. They're powered by massive language models, LLMs.
The large language models, the brains of the operation.
Exactly. They're what allow the companion to remember complex stuff, context from weeks ago, not just the last sentence. They sustain deep conversations.
And if you can maintain context?
You can maintain a relationship, or at least the feeling of one. That's the leap. That's what's driving this market.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because if you're going to create a digital companion, you have to start with how it looks, how it presents itself. The avatar's got to be the first impression.
Absolutely critical.
So let's start with the tools, focusing just on the visuals, the assets.
Right. And creating that polished look, that persona, it's become almost instant now. We can start with Waifu Labs. It takes a completely art-first approach.
Art first? Okay.
Right.
So it's built for speed. Rapid prototyping.
Exactly. You go through this guided process. The AI generates multiple unique portraits, but they're all in a consistent, high-quality anime style.
And the pros there are?
Super fast character creation, lightning fast. And the assets it spits out are export ready, so you can just grab them and use them immediately for, say, a VTubing avatar or maybe a character in a visual novel game you're making.
Sounds like a perfect starting point if you just need the look.
It is. But here's the big catch, the crucial con. It's only visuals. The sources really stress this. You have to pair this output with other tools. Separate tools for the actual conversation, the AI brain, and importantly, the voice. Otherwise, the art just sits there.
Right, it's just a picture. Which leads us straight into the next problem.
Yeah.
How do you make that static image talk, move, become dynamic? And that's where something like Power Director steps in. We usually think of them for video editing, right?
Yeah, traditionally.
But apparently, they've built in these pretty robust AI avatar tools, specifically designed to bring that static portrait you just made to life.
That's right. So you can feed in the art, say, from Waifu Labs, combine it with a speech track, maybe something generated by that neural TTS we mentioned.
Okay.
And Power Director handles the animation. It gives you smooth lip sync, facial movements, all synced up perfectly to the audio you fed in. It basically solves that technical headache of animating a digital character without needing to be, a professional animator.
Technically elegant, yeah. But for you, the user, the limitation's still there, isn't it? Power Director is just the animation engine.
Correct. It is not a chatbot itself. You absolutely have to pair it with an external AI, a conversational engine, if you want it to actually talk back spontaneously.
So we've got the look sorted, potentially, and we've
Yeah.
got a way to sync voice and animation.
Yep.
Now we need the core, the brain, the personality.
This is the critical bit.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because the market just splinters immediately, doesn't it? Based on like how intimate the conversation gets and whether there are guardrails.
Exactly. It fragments quite dramatically. So, starting on the more, let's say, wholesome end of the spectrum, the market leader is probably still Replica.
Replica, right, I've heard of them. Their focus is,
Heavily on emotional mirroring. Warmth, routine, a sense of presence. It's built more like a journaling buddy or a supportive, long-term kind of friend AI.
and the sources highlight its memory, right? That seems key.
Oh, absolutely. It remembers tiny details you tell it, your preferences, things about your life, and it adjusts its tone based on that. It's really good at keeping a daily conversation flowing naturally, keeping you engaged.
Sounds great for companionship.
Yeah.
But what are the downsides?
Well, the moment you try to push its boundaries,
Yeah.
the limits show up fast. The big con is those internal guardrails, the safety filters. They can feel really strict.
Strict how?
Like, if you're looking for anything explicit, forget it. But even for mildly non-standard role plays, say you ask it to be I don't know, a grumpy space captain,
Yeah.
you might find it just snaps right back to being your supportive friend AI 5 minutes later. Deep persona editing is pretty limited.
Okay, so if Replica's guardrails feel too tight, too stifling, what happens if a user wants way more flexibility? Dynamic personality shifts.
Then you kind of graduate up the scale. You move to something like Anima AI. This system is much more heavily designed around scene-based roleplay.
Roleplay focus.
Yeah, and it gives you, the user, tools to sort of dial in the personality dynamically on the fly.
You mean like flexibility, it can change its tune.
Exactly. Anima can switch from being, say, jocular and funny to suddenly possessive or sweet or intensely sarcastic, sometimes all within one conversation. Its roleplay stamina, that ability to stay in character within a complex scenario, is pretty solid, often because it uses better LLM integration.
And its main draw is that control.
Yeah, those flexible persona sliders are key. You can quickly adjust things like affection levels, boundaries, the whole conversational style without needing to, like, reset the whole scene.
Is there a trade-off?
Yeah, a couple. Users sometimes report tone jumps if the topic changes too quickly, the AI gets a bit confused. And like Waifu Labs, its own built-in visuals can be pretty basic. You often need to bring your own art if you want it to look really good.
Okay, so we've got strict guardrails with Replica, flexible boundaries with Anima.
Right.
If Anima has those adjustable settings, what happens when someone just wants no boundaries at all, the completely uncensored market?
Well, that is precisely where the sources say the massive revenue surge is happening. We move past even subtle filters and get into platforms built specifically for the adult market.
Okay, if we connect this to the bigger picture then,
Yeah.
that demand for minimal restrictions, it's basically created platforms like Candy AI.
Exactly. Candy AI exists almost entirely on that uncensored edge. It's built from the ground up for explicit role play, seductive banter, that sort of thing.
Let's maybe clarify the term here for listeners. We're talking full NSFW, not safe for work scenarios, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. That means censorship, guardrails around mature, explicit themes, that basically non-existent. It's designed specifically to push those boundaries.
So the pros are obvious then. Full NSFW roleplay. Highly customizable personas for different moods or styles.
Yeah, and one key feature that the sources really highlight, maybe with a raised eyebrow, it allows media exchange within the chat.
Wait, media exchange, like photos?
Photos, clips, yeah, users can share them directly in the conversation, which, further blurs that line between just chatting and a full simulated relationship. That feature, though, the media exchange, that's where the huge caveat comes in, and it's a serious one.
I can imagine.
While the platform offers this deep boundary pushing, obviously the heavy adult focus limits casual use, but way more critically, the sources hammer home the potential for extreme privacy risks.
If users are sharing personal media.
Exactly. Sharing personal photos or videos within a platform built for uninhibited, explicit interaction, that's a massive risk you're taking on.
Okay, hold on. Media exchange, practically no guardrails. How do platforms like that even handle liability if sensitive data gets leaked or misused?
Well, the sources note they typically shield themselves legally. Buried in the terms of service, it usually says users assume full responsibility for any content they share.
The fine print.
Always. But the fact that the feature even exists shows how far developers will go to meet that user demand for hyper-realistic, totally uninhibited interaction, even with the inherent risks that sharing personal media brings.
That is, wow, a critical piece of info for anyone thinking about that end of the market.
Okay.
So we've done art, animation, the conversation engine across the safety spectrum.
Yeah.
Let's pivot again.
Okay.
What if you don't just want a bot for yourself? What if you want to build something for a whole community or even run it as a business?
Right. That takes us into the last couple of platforms, which kind of represent the two extremes: accessibility versus complete control.
Let's start with the community side.
That would be Character.ai. Think of it like a massive public library. It hosts thousands upon thousands of bots, mostly community-made, often anime-inspired. It's the super low-friction, usually free way to just dip your toes in, test the waters.
So huge selection, easy to tweak personalities without coding. Sounds appealing.
It is appealing for trying things out, but that free, community-driven nature, it impacts quality. It varies wildly from bot to bot.
Makes sense.
And the biggest consistent complaint you see in the sources, those NSFW filters are notoriously inconsistent.
How so?
Sometimes way too strict, other times weirdly absent. It's kind of the inevitable trade-off when you have that much free user-generated content all mashed together.
Okay, so Character.ai is the community-driven, low-cost, maybe variable quality option.
Pretty much sums it up.
Then what's at the other end of that control spectrum, the enterprise solution?
That would be Scrile AI. And this isn't really an app you download. It's more like a development service. They build 100% custom systems for you.
So bespoke development.
Exactly. And this is where you see everything we've talked about: the voice, the visuals, the AI, all converging, not just for one user, but for potentially a massive monetized business.
Who uses this? Highly personalized companions?
Could be that. But more commonly, it's used for building monetized adult content platforms. Think custom branded chatbot businesses.
So their selling points are total control.
Total creative control, yeah. Custom branding, custom voice, integrating that high-end emotional neural TTS we mentioned, top-tier anime visuals, the whole package. They define the high end.
And they build the business side too.
They build the entire business model around the bot. They bake monetization tools right in. We're talking subscriptions, different access tiers, and crucially, paper interaction models.
Paper interaction. Wow.
Yeah, and integrating those really powerful LLMs is non-negotiable here. Because if you're charging people money per message, that bot needs rock-solid roleplay stamina and context memory. You absolutely cannot afford tone jumps or the AI forgetting things mid-conversation.
The technical sophistication sounds huge, but the con must be equally huge, right?
Oh, yeah. It's obvious. This requires a significant development budget, serious planning, time. It is absolutely not an instant cheap fix. It's a major investment in creating a custom digital asset, basically.
Okay. So if we kind of zoom out and look at this whole 2025 landscape, what's the main takeaway for you listening right now?
I think the market really defines itself along a clear spectrum. On one end, you've got that instant, low-control, often free interaction. Think Waifu Labs just for the art, or Character.ai for the basic chat experience.
Easy access, low barrier to entry.
Exactly. And then way over on the other side, you have the expensive, high-control, full ownership models, often geared towards monetization. That's where Scrile AI sits.
So as a user, you're basically choosing between ease of access and complete creative and maybe even financial control.
Precisely. And what's truly, I think, revolutionary here is that the AI itself, the underlying tech, is finally good enough. It can sustain these deep, spontaneous, personalized interactions, relationships, almost that meet whatever the user actually needs.
Whether that need is just simple companionship
Or generating content, creating revenue streams, the technology, the voice, the visuals, that deep contextual memory, it's all converged to fundamentally blur the line between what feels scripted and what feels genuinely interactive.
So the sources really show that the perfect digital companion, however you happen to define perfect, it's now accessible in lots of different forms, designed for radically different needs, different budgets, different monetization ideas.
Yeah. And this convergence, it really raises a big final thought for you to chew on. These AI companions, they are explicitly built to mirror human emotion, right? To remember things about you, engage in complex, long-term role play. So as this tech keeps leveling up, and as these systems increasingly become tied to money, subscriptions, paper interaction, what does that do to the boundary? the line between digital companionship and, actual human connection.
How do those financial incentives change the nature of the digital bond itself?
Exactly. How will that monetization affect those boundaries moving forward? It's something worth thinking about.
So what does this all mean? It means the landscape is shifting incredibly fast. The line between just using these things and actually creating with them or even building businesses on them is disappearing. You basically have the full toolkit now to decide where and how you want to engage in this fascinating and sometimes strange new digital world. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.